Okay, right, right now, I'm sitting with Mr. Cloyd Miller. I'm at his beautiful home in Rancho Cucamonga, and I met Mr. Miller on Christmas Day back in 2019. I came to his home. I came to his home because the company gave me notification that he was a victim of mortgage fraud. I did not know his saga started way back in 2006, Mr. Cloyd, Mr. Miller, with Countrywide. When this whole thing started, was what year was it?
2005.
2005. And the situation was, I like to take the time to explain this because most people, well, not most, a lot of folks think that a person is in foreclosure because they've been delinquent. In this particular case, Mr. Cloyd has $1 million property, and he went to Countrywide and he wanted to build a pool and do some things in the back of his home. And what he had a first and a second, and what they did mistakenly is stop collecting on the first, on the second, and Mr. Miller, explain briefly what they do with the first and second. Briefly explain what they did with the first and second.
Well, I discovered after going into Countrywide and showing some preliminary plans to add on to this home and to put in a pool, jacuzzi, and the like, that I was in foreclosure. And I disputed that and found out in 2007, after I filed my first bankruptcy, with correspondence to Countrywide, that they had mistakenly taken my second and applied it to the first.
Okay, now I'm going to pick it from here. We'll come back to you in a second, Mr. Miller. Now, what happens is, so the company called me, actually emailed me, well, Mr. Miller may be a victim of fraud from Countrywide. I should go talk to him and find out, has he hired an attorney or what's going on. I mean, Mr. Miller on Christmas Day, he updated me on what's going on, and so we immediately called the lender, and the lender just illegally asked for paperwork over and over for over 9 months, and then just said Mr. Miller was not qualified, didn't qualify. Subsequent to that time, we negotiated with them back and forth. Then we decided we wanted to file a lawsuit on it. As a matter of fact, the day we spoke to them, the point of contact person had left the company, and the new person says, well, she should never even work with you guys. And I try to work with them, and I says, well, if you're not going to work with us, we're going to file a lawsuit. We must have screened almost 15 or so lawyers before we found one that we thought was doable to get done what we want to get accomplished. And just recently, today is going to be the 4th, I believe, of November. Just on less than 3 days ago, our attorney filed a TRO on the lender, and we were victorious on court. What that means is that at this juncture, no payment is due to the lender. Everything is on hold until we got our next hearing and go before the court. So that was something very, very significant. Mr. Miller, you saved from the time we met roughly how many dollars because of what we've done for you thus far?
Over $230,000.
Wow. That's a lot of money to save, over $230,000. Mr. Miller, let me take this time to ask you, and briefly, what has your experiences been with us working with you, in your own words?
It's been a very good experience, very professional. Reggie has stayed on top of this since we first met. He's very thorough in terms of getting the information that you need, and he's helped me tremendously to ease my anxiety.
Well, Mr. Miller, would you say when we call the lender, if they give us some type of attitude or nonsense over the phone, how do we deal with that?
Oh, you deal with it very professionally.
Very well. Mr. Miller, you want to say anything before we close out, Mr. Miller?
I want to say thank you to Reggie and to the company for allowing me to be able to go through this process. And with the latest TRO, it has helped eliminate some of the anxiety and depression that I go. I'm a 100% disabled vet.
Let me say this. In short, Mr. Miller is saying that Homeowners Advisory Corporation has helped him in a difficult time, especially not just a mortgage, with his health situation and being going through some depression, you said, Mr. Miller?
Yes.
And so being able to fight the lender and knowing you can be victorious helps with that. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much, Mr. Miller, and God bless you.